Welcome back to Surface Series. This is a show for sports fans, for the people that work in sports, and even more so, for the people that are interested in the work that goes into sports. So, if you don't understand what I mean, I'm taking you over to the Los Angeles Chargers practice facility. Now, this isn't like one of my normal jobs that I show you so far, where I'm going and painting logos or creating a football field or whatever else it may be. No, this is where I actually work full-time. So, I have j.sprays, and I also work for the Chargers. I'm part of the field crew there, one of the field managers, and we take care of the practice facility. We take care of the practice field that the players play on, obviously practice at, and I'm going to show you some of our cultural practices today, some field renovations, as you might call it, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're going to go do. We had OTAs. OTAs are pretty much the off-season workouts for the NFL. Chargers, I think it's like a month and a half, 2 months long, and then they get a little bit of a break. Then training camp starts, and then jump right into regular football season. So right now, this is the time right after OTAs, trying to get the field recovered and have as much time as possible before training camp starts. So it gets beat up over OTAs because they're out there working out on it. That's what it's meant for. The players are meant to be working on the field and beating it up, and we're supposed to recover it and maintain it. So that's part of what we're doing. But whenever we get the chance, probably a few times a year, depends on the situation that we're in, we do what I'm going to be showing you today. And I'm not going to talk too much in the intro right now because I really want to get to the meat of this video where you guys are actually watching us do the job. So I will be explaining it to you throughout what we're doing, why we're doing it, and how you could even do it at either the same scale or a more cost-effective way. Now, this today is a job or type of work that could be done even on your front lawn. So it's not specific to NFL football fields. It's not specific to sports fields even. This is just something that you do for grass. For our type of grass, we have Bermuda grass, sports turf, but it's not limited to that. So even if you're just looking to see how can I improve my front yard, this is a video for that. Even if you're trying to see what happens over at a practice facility when the players aren't there or when it's not in season, they're not training on it, this is also a video for you. If you just like grass, if you like sports, this is a video for you. Anybody else? I don't know. It's up to you to watch. But we're going to get to this video very shortly. I'm excited for this, and let's just do it. All right, let's get to this video. Right now, we haven't touched the grass yet. We have just finished youth football. Before that, OTAs, a couple months of it. So the grass has been used pretty good for the last few months, and it's ready to get torn apart. That's what we're doing. We're breaking it down so we can grow back stronger. And my God, does it work every single time. So stay to the very end of this video to see what the results are like weeks after this ends, because they turn out beautiful. And we're going to be beating this thing down, as you'll be able to see just by watching this. So right now we're starting off with the mow. You can see the two different areas on the grass, the left side on the screen and the right side on the screen. Left side is where it's been not mowed yet, or sorry, hasn't been mowed. The right side is where it's been mowed. Started our scalp already, which is when we incrementally keep getting the cut of the grass lower and lower. We can adjust the reels. If you're not familiar with mowing reels, we can adjust the height of which we cut the grass at. And so we keep getting lower and lower and lower, and I'll go into a little more detail into that a little later on in the video. But right now, we did our spray, and then here you see our verticut reels. So these reels, they pretty much just rip out everything that's underneath the surface of the grass and bring it up to the top, because that's all extra stuff that we do not need and we do not want. These are our regular reels, the ones that you just saw mowing the grass. They serve very different purposes. We barely ever use these, but when we do, we really get our use out of them, and that's what we're doing today. I think we did 2, maybe even 3 different directions and verticut mows on the field today. So we're getting ready. This was a long day. I think it was a 14-hour day, something like that. Got there at like 6:30 in the morning, and it's already bright and sunny outside. I do love being in the South Bay over in El Segundo, California, and not everybody has nice weather like this. So some of you guys, I know we'll be out there in the hot summer heat. Still warm out here, but I think you guys are the real heroes. The ones that endure the worst of the worst weather, the hot, the cold. We have it easy over here. I do say so. Don't think that I'm anything special for being out here in the sun all day. I do get some pretty good color because of how often I'm out in the sun, but I don't have to deal with all the crazy weather like a lot of you might. But I usually don't wear sunglasses, but I do have these shades today because it's gonna get dirty. I put on the hood, put on my earphone or my headphones because it's gonna get loud. I'm trying to keep the sun off me, and the glasses aren't so much for me trying to block the sun, but trying to block everything that's flying up. We just started, and you see all this stuff moving around on the screen. We have 14 hours of that. All right, just today alone, and then we have days and days and days after this. I think this was like a 6-day process or so, and we'll even get to see some of the after a little later on. But right now, you see verticutting. This is what it looks like afterwards. It's showing all the stuff that we pulled from the ground. The grass was a little wet, so maybe it could have been cut a little better, but that's okay because we are going in multiple directions. All right, so this is a very slow process. If you go too fast, the reels can't keep up, and you're not going to get as much stuff as you want. So here's what it looks like after just a section of verticutting. All that stuff was beneath the surface. Everything that you see on the right side of the screen was beneath the grass. And it's just pretty much, it's thatch, which is just dead grass and other debris that you might just, the grass just grows over. It just gets down into the soil, just needs to be lifted back up. A lot of extra roots and stuff that don't need to be there. You rip them off, they grow back stronger, and it's a process. It just keeps happening over and over and over, and it's a beautiful thing. Like I said, it's a very long process, but it's worth it. It's not always the most fun, but it's very satisfying. I do enjoy this process, even if it means I'm spending a full week doing just work, because the way the fields look later on, magnificent. I absolutely love the effects that this brings. It's going to look rough for a little while, and that's what it's supposed to do because of how much we're beating it up. We are tearing this thing apart, and it's fine because it's meant to do that. And with how much we're using this mower, I don't know how many times I had to refill, but we used a lot of diesel that day, a lot of refueling, and that's just what it is. That's part of it. But this is stuff that I love to do. Now, I've been with the Chargers for going on my 4th season at this point, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I've always wanted to work in professional sports, and I did before this over at the LA Coliseum. I was partially, I was with USC, and the Rams played there over at the Coliseum, and then went to SoFi Stadium. Obviously, the Rams and the Chargers play there. Then came over to the Chargers and taking care of the practice facility, and I absolutely love it. It's a gorgeous, brand new practice facility, only a year old. We were in another area down in Orange County. If you're not familiar with it, it's south of LA, over in Costa Mesa, somewhat near the beach. This is also near the beach, and I love it. I love it. I love working for the Chargers. They do treat me well, and I love being able to make a positive impact with the team. So whether you're doing it for a professional sports team, for your own lawn at home, or for a little league, for high school, college, whatever it may be, this is important. And one of my goals is to highlight the people and the work that goes into sports. Yes, the athletes are obviously important. The coaches are obviously important. So many other people are important too that are just behind the scenes, and maybe some people want to stay behind the scenes, and that's okay. I highlight the people that deserve to be highlighted, and if they choose not to be, then I won't. But the work that goes into it is unmatched because sports is very time-consuming to work in. As you see, this video isn't just about sports. It's about field care, sports turf management, lawn care, if you want to call it that. But this is not a lawn. That's one misconception that I hear from a lot of people, is that they think it's a lawn. It's not a lawn. A lawn is for your home. A lawn is for a public little viewing spot or whatever it may be. This is a football field, not a lawn. But besides that, you see me blowing off all the debris and everything. There's so much that gets into it. This is a filter that goes into the back, and we don't want that to get clogged. So we gotta keep blowing it out. It's okay if we make a mess with all the stuff that comes off of it, because we're making a mess the entire day. That's what this day is, making a mess. And I will get to how we clean this stuff off of the surface, because every single time we use the Verticut reels, and we're going to use them again after this, we have to clean it off before we can go back and do another direction or do another start our second round of it. So I'll get to that. We'll get to where we need to. But right now, we're pretty extensively cleaning that off. And now you see where we're getting to the good part. This is the vacuum. This is where we're going to be cleaning off the surface of the field. So you see all the dirty stuff that's on top of it that we talked about, the thatch, dead grass, the roots, and all that stuff that we brought up intentionally. We're going to be cleaning off so we can make another mess. That's all it is. It's make a mess, clean it, make a mess, clean it, make a mess again, and clean it, and do it again the next day and the next day and the next day. We're making different types of messes for different purposes, but that's what we're doing. We're just making messes. We're over here at kids on a playground, and that's what it is. All right, except our playground is grass, and we're just trying to make it better by making it look worse for a little bit. It's okay. It's like when you work out, you rip your muscles, because that's what it is. But when they grow back stronger, right? You're tearing the muscle fibers. I believe, if I get this wrong, I'm not certified. I'm not a professional in nutrition, health, strength, and condition. None of that. But you rip your muscles apart. Not, I guess, kind of literally. And they grow back stronger, right? So we're doing that with the grass right now. We're ripping it apart, and it's going to grow back stronger. We're pretty much, if you think about it, taking all the stuff from beneath the surface up onto the top of the surface. That way the roots have a much clearer path to grow. I mean, if you're think about it, if you have too much of it, like I said earlier, I compare it to a human body. If you have too much stuff blocking, say, your veins, say you have a blood clot in your veins, that's not good, right? You're not going to be able to function properly, and you're going to have some issues. If we left too much thatch beneath the surface, if we left too much stuff, the roots aren't going to be able to grow through it once it gets to a certain point. So that's why we need to lift it up. This is for longevity, right? It's not pretty immediately. It's actually quite ugly. But we're working on it. We're making it look pretty, and it will. So you see this process of how dirty it gets and how we're trying to clean it off just so we can make another mess. That's how it is. You can still see the numbers. You're going to be able to see the paint for a little while. Like, we're ripping the stuff off of we're pulling stuff up from beneath the surface up on top of it, but the paint stays there. Paint is not just on the grass. A little bit's in the soil. It'll come off eventually, but you'll be able to see it. All right, so you see how dirty it is. This is the stuff that's flying around. Like I said, I made a mess. We made a mess. This was a huge project, and it's a necessary one. It's something that we do frequently. We do it all the time. I guess not all the time, but we do it whenever we have a chance. So this process that you've seen so far is that the field was used, and we came in and started mowing it, and we started our scalping process ahead of time, which is, like I said earlier, incrementally cutting the grass shorter and shorter and shorter. And I think we got below 0.2 of an inch. I could be mistaken, but it was somewhere around there. It could be less, could be about that, but we got it pretty low. And I don't know if you were wondering, but this is where we put all the thatch, and we will dispose of it. So don't you worry. It doesn't just stay there. But all that stuff that's on the field has to be dumped over and over and over and over. And that's what you're not really going to see too much. I'm just showing it this one time. But as many times as we had to dump was insane. And it just got to a point where I had to get the tractor and push it up against the wall even more so we still had more room to dump, because we're going to get the big dumpsters coming in tomorrow, but we don't have them yet. So we just got to use the room that we have, use the space that we have, and we do make it work. So don't you worry about that. One of the biggest issues, I guess, if you're going to do this somewhere, is finding space for this. Because if you just fill up trash bags, you're not going to have a good time. You're not going to be able to finish the work. That's going to be way too much. I don't know how many trash bags it would take to fit all this stuff in there. It's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. No trash bags. Get big dumpsters. Get low boys. Get whatever you may need, whatever you can afford, depending on how much space you need, right? But chances are a lot of you aren't going to be doing it on this space. And if you are, congrats. Yes, my laptop is right next to me because my phone was dying and I need to take video, obviously. And I have my headphones in. I want to keep listening to what I got going on. So here's what it looks like up to this point. Swept a lot of the stuff off. And like I said, making another mess. So this time it was third round of mowing. This was not the verticut you saw in the last one. It looked a little different. He was scalping it down even more. So we went and got our regular reels, dropped the height, scalped it down, and here's where we're at now. You see a lot of the thatch. We didn't finish picking everything up today. We're going to do it tomorrow. It was about to get dark. Now we're on day 3. It got picked up, didn't see that, but now we're scalping it again, going different directions. It's important to go different directions because of the grain of the field, and it helps you get more. If you think about it, if you just comb your hair the same way, I guess, every single day, maybe you may not get the knots. Maybe sometimes if your hair's tangled, you might need to go a different direction. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad analogy, bad comparison. But we go different directions because the more directions you go, the more stuff you cut, the more grass that you can get to. Because if you keep mowing in the same direction all the time, the grass is really just going to start laying that way, and you're not going to be able to get to cut everything. So that's why if you go in different directions, it's not just going to keep falling in the same direction every single time. You mow it to the left, you mow it to the right, you mow it up, down, south, north, west, east, wherever you want, diagonal. Keep doing it. Keep switching it up. We probably go 2 mows in the same direction, maybe sometimes even 1, and then switch it up. All right, so today we're going side to side. We're going to mow a couple different times. And the thing is, they actually do have a little bit of a practice today. It's not the OTAs didn't actually fully end. I think it's rookie mini camp is what it is. I could be mistaken. But we had to put a field down. So we had to make sure one of our fields was clean enough to where we can paint a field on it again. And thankfully, we could still see some of our old paint. So we didn't really have to remeasure everything. We could just paint over it. So you see now, Miles and Tyler painting the lines, yard lines, side lines, goal lines, end lines, everything else. I'm painting the numbers. We only had to do 1 field, not all 3 like we usually do, which was nice, but we did make a full field and got the hashes down and everything for him. So I'm glad. I do like seeing a football field. Like I said, you may not have to be worrying. I guess I didn't say this already, but you may not have to worry about a team playing on what you're trying to do this for on the field that you're working on. You may also have to worry about that. So you just work with what you can. Part of being a groundskeeper or just working in sports in general is being able to adapt, being able to adjust, do what you need. I guess that goes for life. You always need to be able to adjust. We adjusted. We knew this was happening, so we prepared for it accordingly, and we ended up doing it. Ended up getting it done. Fields got down, and we were able to work on the other parts of the, like, I guess where our other fields would be while they used this 1 field. So we usually have 3 full football fields. This is the middle one. This is the one we gave them to use that day, and they were fine with it. We compromise and work, and that's how you work as a team, right? The whole organization's great. We work together. Everybody does their job, and it's a very well-oiled machine. And I'm very happy to be part of it because it's It's fun. It's something that not everybody gets to experience. If I'm being completely honest, we know that not everybody can experience being in professional sports, let alone the NFL. So it's awesome. I'm very fortunate, and I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody by any means. There are so many other people out there that know way more than I do in this subject and some of the other stuff that I do too. All right. So don't ever think that just because somebody works for the NFL or the MLB or one of these major sports organizations means that they're better than somebody else taking care of a college field, a high school field, a city park, multiple fields, whatever it may be. That's just not the case. A lot of it is timing, location, and who you know, and you got to be good for sure. You do have to know what you're doing to be able to work in this type of stuff. And we all know what we're doing. We work well as a crew together. There's 4 of us, and we get it done. We get it done. We have support from the organization. They know what or I guess they don't know the extent of what we're doing, but that's why I'm trying to show you guys. That's why I'm trying to show so I can let everybody know what we do and that it's not just mowing the grass. We're not just mowing the grass. Some people say mowing the lawn. It's not even a lawn. We're not mowing it. All right? Okay, we're mowing it, but that's not the only thing we're doing. All right? And right now I'm quite literally mowing it. But we're scalping, like you can see another direction. If you see all those marks in the grass, that's because we've mowed in so many different directions. We're bringing down the height, lower and lower and lower. We have 2 mowers going on, but we're very fortunate to have 2 mowers. But you see all this stuff. So a lot of the time when we mow, we have baskets on that catches all of the stuff that we mow. That way we could just dump it and grass stays clean. But right now, the reason that we're not is because of how much we're cutting. I mean, you saw the mower. You saw how much stuff was being thrown around as the mower was driving through it. So it would just be way too much. But now we're on to day 4. We have to start the day off by removing a field goal post. Now, this might not be something you usually have to deal with anytime, let alone during these field renovations, cultural practices, whatever you want to call them. I'll keep calling them both because that's what I hear. So when we remove this field goal post, and we have to do it with 3 of them because the reason is there are going to be bleachers built on this side of the field. The other side, the 3 on the opposite side of the field, those can stay where they are. So thankfully, we only have to remove 3. I'm just showing you one of them in this video. So this is how we do it. We got to lower it with the hydraulic. That box we store. It's not always on there. We store, and then we bring it up to the field goal post, connect it, lower that. We got to unscrew all the bolts in there, take them all out, and then we slide the uprights off. So there are multiple parts in our field goal post. Every field, or I guess not everyone's different, but there are multiple types of field goal posts. We have to unscrew those, take off the uprights, and then remove the crossbar from the gooseneck. Take that stuff back, and then this part is called the gooseneck, the curved part. See that plate? It's bolted on there. Taking all the bolts off, and then we remove it. The stuff is heavy, but we know what we're getting into. We've done this a bunch of times, so remove that, and then we just have one more piece left to go for the field goal post. So you see that thing just laying around, walking it over. It's more so like just awkward to carry because of how big it is rather than it being heavy. So that's why we're able to just carry it by hand like that. But walking around with this thing, I couldn't wait to put it down just because it's a little awkward. So another part that I don't show you guys here is we have to find a spot to store it. Now, we have an area that we stored it the last season, but after a year, things start to get taken up, space gets used, and we may not have all the space that we used last year to store the stuff that we need to store this year in the same area. So we had to make our own spot. We hung it up on the fence, and still sitting there right now until we're able to put them back in. You see the other 2 are up there still. The other 3 are on the other side over by the parking lot. We're going to take those other 2 down eventually, but today we're not doing it. This week we're not doing it. We will once we can. But right now we're getting back to scalping. Like I said, it's a long week. This is a 6-day process that I'm taking you through. Sometimes it could be more, sometimes it could be less, but that's what it is for this situation. Scalping again, this time mowing sideways, and you see right there, we're aerifying. So the aerification that we're doing, there are different types of tines that go on aerators, aerifiers, and the tines are what go in the ground. These ones that are going in the ground are pulling the soil up from beneath the surface, and then that other thing that you see over there is called a sweeper. That's picking all that stuff up. I'm mowing this stuff. I'm scalping it. So we have all 4 of us doing something right now, which we usually are, but right now we're really getting after it. All right, so scalp, core, sweep. That's what we're doing. You see like how yellow and just dead the grass might look. That's because of how low we've cut it so many times. I mean, there's been so much traffic from us alone going on this grass, and that's what we want to do. We get it yellow. We get it yellow intentionally. We get it to where it looks dead. I mean, we've had in the past times when somebody's walked out to the field during this process and they're like, how is this supposed to be usable? Is it dead? Are we going to have to replace this grass? No. It's fine. We're doing this on purpose. We're doing this for a reason. So I've pretty much explained to you what the reason is we're doing this, because it grows back stronger. And if you're still listening here, you're going to remember we have to clean out this stuff. I mean, the mowers, both of them have the regular reels back on, so we're no more verticutting. We're done with verticutting. We're just scalping over and over and over. We're mowing, and I lost count of how many directions we mowed in because it was a lot. We mowed a lot this week, and we will again. But I guess pretty much just everything that we did. So now here's a little up-close visual of what's actually happening. So all the stuff on the ground, which you may have seen in a public park or at your at a baseball field or whatever it may be, we're pulling that from beneath the surface, and these flags are there to show where the sprinklers are, where the irrigation heads are. All right, so put those flags there because if the aerifier goes down there and punches the sprinkler heads, the irrigation heads, then we can have other problems on our hands. So don't want to do that. That's why the flags are there, to mark where they are, because they can get lost easy. But now you see us having problems with our sweeper. Ryan and Tyler were really working on this thing as much as they could, and they got it to where it was usable for a little bit, but eventually this thing just stopped working how we needed it to. It needed to be serviced. We didn't have all the parts that we needed to service it. People that came out to fix it didn't have all the parts they needed, so we worked with what we could. Thankfully, we were able to make this work because, like I said, we have the budget that allows it, and it was very necessary. Our backup plan was we were going to either get the tractor with a bucket or we were going to get shovels and scoop everything into dumpsters. So I would much rather do this. This thing, like I said, didn't make it all the way, but as far as it made us, it helped, and we ended up having another machine that did the job. But at this point, you've seen how we do things, and like I said, not everybody's going to have the same budget as an NFL team to be able to do all this stuff. And if you do, awesome. We're not the only ones that do. Don't get me wrong. We're not doing anything extra crazy that nobody else has the money for. We're working with what we got. But if you don't have this type of budget, or if you have a smaller space or whatever it may be, here's what you can do. So throughout this process, we've gone through the scalp. What you can do is, if you have a push mower that allows you to adjust the height, start working your way down incrementally. Mow and mow and mow and mow. And keep mowing shorter in different directions until you get as low as you could possibly go. All right? And then after that, get a verticut. They do have different machines that you can use to verticut that you can just buy on Amazon or something like that. All right? So I've done it, and you'll see that in a later video where I am not using the equipment from the chargers. I had to use my own stuff at another area, so I'll show you that eventually. But right now you see us dumping. This is where all the cores and thatch are going. There's a lot going on. The thatch that you saw in earlier in the video is already taken out. We have dumpsters and dumpsters and dumpsters full of this stuff because of how much there is. It gets crazy, and it's fun. Like I said, it's fun. It's a lot of work. It's fun stuff. But back to how you can do this at home. You get a push mower, and like I said, incrementally start dropping the height more and more and more until you get as low as you can go. Get the Verticut reels. Maybe get one of these other products, products from Amazon or whatever it may be. You could go to Home Depot, Lowe's, any of the types of those stores. They'll probably have something similar to Verticut reels that penetrate beneath the surface and raise that stuff up. And then aerifying, if you really want, there are hand tools that you can use. It might suck depending on how much area you have to cover, but yeah, you can get one of those hand tools. And here you see us getting this dumpster delivered. That's how it gets dropped off. But all this stuff is possible. All this stuff is possible to do at home, and people do all the time. I'm not the only one that knows how to do this, obviously. So many people know how to do this way better than I do. But we're still not done with what we're getting into, right? So you see us, we brought the other machine out to start picking this stuff up, and it worked fine. Whatever we got to do, we do it. I just hope we could do something without needing to use the shovels, because I've had to do that before. And now we're throwing out some more nutrients and fertilizer out here just to get it while there's holes in the ground, right? You see all these holes in the ground? That's a perfect time to throw out something. Throw out some nutrients, fertilizer, whatever you want to do. That way, it just falls into those holes, and then you water it after. And yeah, that's it. It's simple. So if you want to do this at home, that was my birthday. Yes, we worked all day on my birthday, which is fine. Came home to a nice little surprise. It was cute. Back to work the next morning. See all the holes in the ground. Now today we're top dressing. So you see all this is sand. Where we had all that thatch before, that's why we had to remove it, because we had sand. Now, if you're at home, you just get the amount of sand you need. But the sand is kind of like the blood that flows through the field's body, if you know what I mean. So if that makes any sense, the sand is very necessary for helping the grass be what it is. The sand serves so many purposes. So I'll get into those right now. But what we're doing is we're filling up this top dresser, which we're going to be driving throughout the field and spreading all of this, or as much of this sand as we need to, throughout everything. Now, like I said, and like you saw, all those holes are in the grass. So this sand is just going to drop right into those holes, and a lot of it's going to stay on top of the surface. We'll end up dragging it in, but we're going to be spreading this thing out all over the grass, right? So this sand, like I was saying, I kind of compare it to, like I said, the human body. I kind of compare the sand to blood, sort of in a way, because it's necessary for survival. The sand is necessary for the grass's survival, and the roots are kind of like the veins, right? So if, say, a player makes a divot, if you have a divot in the grass, if you've ever been to a golf course, you fill it up with sand, the roots can grow through it, and the grass can go right out of it, and it's back to normal. So we have so much sand beneath the surface because that's what helps everything flow. It helps the water flow evenly. It helps with keeping the temperature where it needs to be. If you have sand on top of the surface, it's going to attract more heat. If you have the sand below the surface, it's going to help regulate everything, help the water flow smoothly. And you see Cameron Dicker the kicker, practicing. He's able to do that because the grass is ready for him. All right, we knew he was going to come out. One of the best, I say the best kicker in the league. My man, out there getting it done. And he doesn't care what condition the field's in. As long as he asked us. He asked us before he went out and kicked weeks ahead of time if he was able to during this point. So we planned for it, right? It's fine. But you see all the sand that was everywhere. Tried to get all the dust off as much as we could. And we're ending this day after we dragged all the sand in, water it. Everything's going to flow nice and smooth. You see a lot. You'll still see some of the sand on top of the surface like that. But once it's wet, that's a day. You can't drag it unless it dries out, right? So we weren't planning on doing any more for this day. Just water it, let the sand kind of just sink into the surface and get down, start to regulate. And here's what it looks like. It looks pretty beat up. The field, the grass looks like it's in rough shape. And 4 days later, you see what it looks like. Starting to get back. You can still see all the markings on it. But now we're back to mowing. Now, we're not really trying to scalp it so much anymore. We're just letting it start to recover. And it's starting to grow fast as ever. Because that's what it's supposed to do. I mean, we got it to a point where we broke it down as much as we possibly could. Got it to be at its low point, and now it's starting to grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And what I'm doing right here with the mower is I'm getting ready to backlap it. If you're not sure with what backlapping is when you put the reels in reverse, turn it on, and then we get this backlapping compound to sharpen it. So pretty much trying to sharpen the reels of the mower right now. Now, it's not like a regular knife where I can just take a knife sharpener and go after it and do it that way. No, this has a special process, and I don't want to get a finger cut off, so I'm going to go do this the right way, right? So I turn the reels in reverse, turn it on, and they start going. So you see them spinning backwards right now. I'm going to get this compound. So this compound, it's a little grainy, and what we have right now, it's a little watered down, unfortunately, but that's all we had left at the time. So you haven't seen it yet, but washing the stuff off, washing these reels off just so we can get everything clean. That way, once we're ready to get into the actual backlapping part of it, which this is the first part of the process, it goes as smooth as it can, right? So these reels have gone through a lot. When you're mowing the sand, it does kind of start to dull out the reels a little bit, so that's why we're sharpening them. They've gone through so much scalping, so much work. So why not? Why not sharpen the blades a little bit, right? This is part of what you need to do with your mowers. Whether you're at home, whether you have one of these type of mowers, whether you have something else, this is part of a necessary process. And a lot of the push mowers, they have different types of, they have different ways, they have different blades and stuff. So I'm not too familiar with processes of sharpening those blades outside of what I'm doing right now, but this is still something you can do at home, right? So everything that you've seen can be done on an at-home budget or whatever budget you may work with. There are different versions of this. We work with what we got. We have the resources. We're going to use them. I'm not going to sit here and say we have it harder than anybody else, because we absolutely do not. We have the stuff we need, but that being said, it is a lot of work. A lot of work has gone into this already, and we're trying to put ourselves in the best possible situation we can to succeed for the next year, right? We're going to be doing this another time or two throughout the football season. When the team has their bye week, we'll probably be doing this. It's kind of like a reset. It's a reset for the grass, for the field, and we're cleaning it out. The more you can do it, the better, right? It's not often that you're going to be able to just go out and do this, because a time needs to be blocked off to where people aren't going to be using it much. And if you need to adjust to where people are going to be coming out, so be it. But right now, like I said, we're backlapping, tightening these reels, and now I'm going to grab the wrench, and like you'll see, I couldn't remember what size I needed. So, pro tip, remember what size wrench you need, because I went through 3 different until I found which one I needed. So, my bad. But the reason I'm doing this is so I can tighten them. And the way I kind of do this, tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if you know a better way of doing it. But I choose like a number between 1 and 3 to tighten each side. These knobs are where you tighten the reels, make them spin a little tighter, because if you keep using them, they're going to get loose, right? So we frequently have to keep tightening them. And like I said, or like I was saying, let me know if there's a better way of doing this, but I like to choose number 1 through 3 on each reel and do both sides that number. I usually start with 2, tighten them twice, 2 clicks, and if that's not tight enough, do it again and keep going until it starts to slow down a little bit for the back lap, right? Because I want it to be tight. And the video's sped up, so it looks a little weird. It's not actually this weird. But I think on this one, I tightened it a little too much, so now I'm loosening it so it can spin a little more freely, because we still do want it to spin. This is a pretty good speed it should be spinning at, I believe. And one thing about this type of work that we're in is that there's many different ways to do the same things, right? The same types of practices have many different methods, and I'm just showing you my experiences, all right? So I'm not speaking for every groundskeeper out there. I'm not speaking for everybody in sports. I'm not speaking for anybody but myself when I am doing something, right? So when I'm talking, these are my experiences. If you have a better way of doing something, please tell me. I am always willing to learn. I'm always willing to hear what ways other people are doing it. And my goal with j.sprays, with all these videos that I'm showing you, these shows that I have, are just to highlight the people in sports and the work that goes into sports. All right? So I just want to spread awareness, because so many times people have just said, oh, you mow the lawn, you mow the grass. Yes, we do mow the grass. It's not a lawn. But there's so much more that goes into it. It's a science. It truly is a science. And if you do go to school for this stuff, you know. All right, so, or if you just work in it, you know. All right, so now I'm putting the reels back to forward, done back lapping, went through that whole process, got a little cut on my hand at some point. I don't even remember what that's from. But those little knobs are how you change the way the reels go, the directions that they go. You see that they're pretty tight right there. It's hard to tell how sharp they are, but they're a lot sharper now. And another way you could do this, just to test them out, is get a little piece of cutting paper, put them in between the reels and spin them. And if it cuts it, then that means the reels are sharp. But I don't have any of that right now, so can't really show you that too much. But you see, we're mowing it again. They're still not on the field for a little while, probably a few more weeks from this point on. So we're just still going to keep messing with the grain. Just try not to get it stuck in one spot, all right? And we had extra sand left over, so our more troubled areas, our more used areas, we put more sand down. The reason for this is because the more sand, the better in those spots that get used more. So between all of our hashes, which is where the football players set up, where most of the action is, that's where we threw sand on this extra day. Over here, which is what we call the fire lane, that red line you see is the fire lane. This is the first point of contact that anybody has with the field when they step out onto it. So it gets the majority of the traffic as well. So that's why we put sand on this area too, because it gets beat up. So we're just dragging it. We're just going around. The sand's dry, the field's dry, everything's dry. We're just dragging it. We didn't do anything too extensive. Just threw some extra sand out that we had and just started dragging it in. This is a way to just kind of evenly distribute everything without having to put too much work into the grass. And yeah, that's what it is. So it's pretty satisfying for me to see the sand get dragged in, just because you can see exactly where you already went over. You could see the dust coming up out the top, and then you know that it's helping the grass. It's helping everything. And now that we got all that dragged in, watering again, getting this thing nice and healthy. And my God, is it exciting. I love doing this. I love seeing the ways people do it, and I love seeing the grass after it's done. So this was a little while later. So you guys saw what we did, how we did our field renovations, cultural practices, like I said, whatever you want to call them. That's how we did it. That's the whole pretty much week-long process, plus a little extra time that we went through our process, right? And I'll show you right now, if I haven't already showed you before. We'll see when we get to the editing what it looks like at this point. my God, it's magnificent. It's beautiful. And that's because we did the prep work to get it to this point and create the longevity that it's going to have, right? We've done this for years, so we know what the process is like and how to do it. So trust me, you can do this at home. You can do this with a much, much, much smaller budget. You can do this with all the equipment in the world. There are many ways to do it, and people have been doing it for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So this is something that I enjoy doing. I'm glad that I get to show you guys. Thank you to the Chargers for employing me. Thank you for giving me the experience of a lifetime working for this team. I love it. I love being able to show you guys this, and I hope you tune in next week. Keep tuning in, subscribe, like the video, whatever you got to do. Just follow j.sprays. Keep following me on my journey. Ask questions. Hit me up. I don't care. I will always talk to you guys, so please reach out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.